Welcome to Bridging the Gap, If These Walls Could Talk. All right, welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you joining the show. We've got Zita, our co-host today, joining us.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. Thanks for
Awesome.
having
I'm
me.
excited to be here with you. And
Thanks.
we've got a really interesting guest. I've got some great questions for. Sandy Smith from Coldwell Banker is here with us, so welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you. So I've got a ton of questions, and the first thing that I want to start with is I'm going through your social media. I saw that there's a new puppy that's last post. So
I love him.
my wife's a big dog person. We have to stop and see every dog that we come across. So I want to start there, and then we can kind of get involved in what you do and
Listen,
why you're
I'll take
here.
up all 25 minutes and just talk about him if you want to. He's an Australian Labradoodle.
Okay.
We got him. We recently lost another one of our dogs. So went all the way to North Carolina.
Oh,
got
wow.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
Picked him up. I didn't know that he was going to be a clingy kind of dog, but he's clung to me, which is A-okay. We go on our walks around the park, and he seems to be training the people. So he knows if he sits, that people will pet him. So
Okay.
everybody that walks by, he sits. So my once, hour walk around the park has turned into a solid 2 hours. And I'm like, guy, I got to go. Like, we got things to do. You got to get it moving here. So yeah, I love him. He's
That's
a good
awesome.
boy.
Super cute looking too.
Oh, thanks. He's a good boy.
Yeah. Anytime we're out, so if we're at camp or something, it's like, oh, here's another dog. Here's another dog. I'm like, really? Like that's moving.
He eats that kind of stuff up, though.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you're
sure.
kind.
For
he
you,
loves.
that's good for real estate. So if you're like walking the lake, whatever, and you have the dog, that's a
yeah.
good conversation.
Yeah, good conversation starter. All right, so tell me this. So you've got this list of mom hacks that you deploy to people so that their house will be in showroom ready stage on a routine basis.
Yeah, I'm kind of stingy with my listings in the best way possible. I kind of have a high standard that, I think that there's a difference between being just a real estate agent and then being an agent that offers like a full service. And in that full service, I really think that you need to go in and really coach your sellers. Hey, listen, this has got to look like a model house. And if we can get the buyer to sit on your couch, that's the goal. Because I think you can attest to it too. Like if you go through a model house, they can sit on the couch and feel relaxed because it's a model
feel
house.
like
It's
at
not,
home.
yeah,
Right.
it's not someone else's house. So that's always the goal that I tell my sellers. I'm like, let's make this feel more like a house and not your home.
Right.
So, getting it unstaged, so to speak, so I can go in there and stage it that's the goal.
So tell me about this, and I've always been kind of curious. Do you want family pictures? Do you want some of the stuff that
No bueno.
not a good idea?
No bueno.
Okay.
Half the people out there are creeps too. Like, I hate to say it, but like if you've got kids and they're gorgeous little kids, put your pictures away. You don't know who's coming through your house.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
you don't know who's going to be like stalking them on social media if you've got pictures of your kids out there, and it's just a no-no.
I've thought about that. Like if you're trying to get people to buy your house, you don't want them to buy you in the process. You
Yeah.
want them to see themselves in the house and envision themselves, to your point, sitting on the sofa,
Yeah.
making themselves relaxed and comfortable. And I feel like when the picture's there, right? It's the one with the eyes, Scooby-Doo, the eyes slide out. And
Yeah.
they're watching you across the room back and forth.
And you feel like you're being like intrusive and invasive on their space.
Right.
You know what
Sure.
I mean? So, but if you can get someone to sit on the couch and relax and make them feel like it's their house, and that gives them that emotional connection to the house where they can feel like, hey, I can see myself living here or whatever.
Is there a point in a showing where you try to get somebody to sit down on the sofa so that they have a conversation with you? Or do you like linger in
Yep.
place and
Every showing.
kind of give them the opportunity to sit down? And I'm thinking the kitchen too. Like the kitchen's a huge gathering
Yeah.
place, right? So like, do you hang around the island, or
Mm-hmm.
are there opportunities where you're kind of making sense of them seeing, oh, hey, I could see entertaining here, or I could see having people over for dinner, or here's my family sitting at the table.
Yeah,
Or,
100%.
do you ever paint the picture though? Like, is that
Every
like,
time, because like I know
suggestive?
me personally, I have one spot that I stand in my kitchen. It's like
Okay.
where the two countertops meet. I've got a bird's eye view of what's happening outside if I got to watch the dog. There's a bird's eye view of what's happening in the living room if the kiddo's doing something. So for moms especially, I'm like, are you a kitchen dweller? You know, like what's your one spot that you know you're just gonna like hang? Do you have a spot in your house that you hang?
Yeah, everybody does. It's
Yeah.
all, I think it's, most people are, it's the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's the kitchen spot, and then that sight line to the family room is super important, I find, to most buyers.
Yeah. And I think of like, I always throw out the Sheldon Cooper. Like he always has like that one spot.
Right.
You're not allowed to sit in his
spot on the sofa.
Like where would your spot in this house be?
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps people, you know, kind of envision themselves there.
Yeah, that's really good. So there's a spot at our island that we all fight over. So I call it my spot, and the kids will say, "Is it okay if I sit in your spot?" Like when I'm eating,
Yeah.
like we'll usually eat around the island when it's just one or two or three of us, or so. I have my assigned seat. And,
Yeah.
It's like automatically. It's almost like when you go to school and like you sit down, like even if it's
Right,
not, you
assigned
just sit in
seats.
the same.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the
So I
same
think we
area.
did the same thing at our
Yeah.
house. I mean, we have our island and everybody has their seat.
Yeah.
It's like unspoken. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like if someone sits in dad's seat, it's kind of like, oh, dad just got home. I should probably move.
I should probably move. Yeah.
So
Right?
my daughter's home from college, and she said to me the other night, she says, "Dad, can I sit in your seat?" I said, "Well, you're already sitting there. That's fine. I'll pick a different spot." So
I crochet because I'm like, I do, if it's a
good
grandma
therapy.
activity, if it, yeah, oh, absolutely. If it's a grandma activity, I'm doing it. Like gardening, crocheting. So crocheting for me is like a big thing at the end of the day if
Okay.
I have any downtime. So that's, again, with the spot, I'm like, there's one spot on the couch that I know that the armrest is here. So it's support for this arm.
Yeah.
So I don't get a cramp, you know, like it's a whole thing.
And I can tell you've been doing it for a while because you're just doing
yeah.
it there like it's
Oh, yeah.
reflexive. And-
I'd be doing it right now.
okay.
It's good therapy though.
You should have brought some needles, and we
I
could have,
know.
I know.
could have had you entertain a how-to.
What are you making? Do you give blankets for
yeah.
housewarming gifts? That's a good
My
one.
housewarming gifts, and right now I'm working on a baby blanket. My best friend's brother is having their first kid. So,
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
yeah, I feel like every baby needs a
course.
blanket. And I just closed on a house, and they just had a baby. So,
That's a perfect gift.
yeah.
It's very personal too.
Yeah, and I've like I said, every baby needs that homemade, you know, something that was done with loving hands.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So take us back to kind of when you started in real estate, and kind of how has that evolved since you've started?
it evolves every year. And I love that part about real estate. I think that being an entrepreneur, it gives you the space and the availability to like change something every single year and build onto it and meet new contractors and meet new vendors, or maybe sometimes fire some of them if they're not doing a good enough job. You know what I mean? But, you know, I think through, you know, the 10 years of me trying on different things, I've been on a team, I've been off a team, I've had partnerships, I've not had partnerships. And it's just trying to figure out what's best. And I don't know, it's just, I love that part about being an entrepreneur though. And you get to put such a personal stamp on things. And I think there's a true difference between being just a real estate agent and someone like Zita and myself that's an agent that provides a service. You know, when you're giving buyer guides and seller guides, you're putting your personal stamp on those things, and your heart and soul is going into some of that, like stickers and
Right.
creativity. And I love the outlet that, you know, real estate kind of gives us to venture down all the different avenues, because as an agent you wear how many hats? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, we're front of the house, we're back of the house, we're marketing, we're advertising, we're, you know, out talking to people, you're transactional, you know, you're doing all of the things. So yeah, just adding on every single year, doing something different. Love that.
So a couple things that, as I was doing some homework for you, so I'm interested to hear your progression. So I saw you have Vow and Nest. Tell me
Yes.
about that and what that is, and where does that
So-
fit in the marketplace for people?
I would love to be an agent that centralizes in just one location. Zita's amazing. I think you're awesome at doing like just Wexford. I have FOMO and I can't do that. Like, the FOMO in me wants to be in like Greensburg and like seeing all the different market streets that they do and like shutting down, and Lawrenceville. And I've had the opportunity where I've lived kind of all over Pittsburgh. I was like a nomad for a little while in my
Okay.
like early 20s. So I know so many different pockets and areas of Pittsburgh that I really kind of listen to a person's lifestyle and help them find a house based on their lifestyle, not so much just, I want a 3-bed, 2-bath, a fenced-in yard. Why does
Right.
everybody want a fenced-in yard?
For their dog.
Like, not everybody has a dog. If I had a quarter,
I have a dog and I would rather not have a fence.
if I had a quarter for every time someone's like fenced in yard, I'm like,
Yeah,
do you
most
need
people-
it?
No.
I
you
feel like
can-
it should be
or at least a
standard.
yard that you can fence.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, finding a house for someone's lifestyle was more my thing. So in finding that like niche or niche for myself,
Right.
I got into brides, like
Okay.
from the jump. I got into one of the bridal shows in Pittsburgh and it was pathetic. My very first, I was with Keller Williams at the time. So I had like my little table and like mints. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did it. And nonetheless, I succeeded at it. And I was like, okay, next year I'm going to do this, or the following year I'm going to give away this. And again, just every year trying something new, doing something different. And you have to, because in the 10 years that I've done it, the brides have changed so much.
Okay.
Sometimes this will work, sometimes it won't work, or the brides now, like in their young 20s, are vastly different than the ones that I was servicing 10 years ago. So, yeah, I thrive in just a little bit of chaos. So just like the atmosphere, I think of the bridal shows and like talking to people and everyone's upbeat and you get to like chat with them and be like, oh, I love your ring and when's your wedding?
Right.
It's just such a good icebreaker that when you're talking to people and be like, at some point you're gonna need to buy a house. What does that look like for you?
Yeah.
And it's just...
Everyone wants to buy a house when
Yeah.
you're a bride to be.
Yeah.
That's like their next.
What's part of the
natural
big
steps,
picture, right? I mean, that's kind of why you're
With the
making
white
that
picket
step
fence
in
that
the.
you're-
Oh, yeah, back to the fence.
Everyone wants
Yeah.
the dog and the fence, and right. I mean, because they probably rent at this point until they get married, and then they're ready
Right.
to buy a house. So that's where you come in. But so obviously, you work with a lot of first-time home buyers, or love working with first-time home buyers,
Yeah.
because that's typically who you're going to find there when you're going to a bridal show. Maybe they own a townhouse or a
Well,
condo
I was
or
going to
something
say
first.
that's the other thing too. Like sometimes I'll find a couple that has like maybe she has a townhouse, he has a condo, and maybe they want to buy a house and keep one of those as an investment
Yeah, that's smart.
option. So, who do you talk to be like, which one of these do we keep?
Right.
So you need a professional to be like, hey, based on the statistics in your area and rental rates, why don't we sell this one and use it for the next one and keep this one or whatever. So, but more and more, I mean, I find that a lot of people have like a little condo or a little townhouse and then they're
And that's a
like
free deal,
leveling up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's smart.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's crazy. From that tiny little table that I had with my mints, I actually tracked it back. And my very first couple that I ever worked with, they were building. So
Okay.
it was a new build construction, and I sold their townhouse. And from the open house that I sold at that for their townhouse, I followed it down 17 levels of transactions that came from that one bride.
Really?
Through
Wow.
open houses, someone came through that first open house because it was a 2-day open.
Okay.
Someone came through the first day. They ended up buying with me a different house. I bought and sold with them later. I bought and sold to their parents. Then on the other side, I found the buyer for that one. They had a place to sell. I mean, I followed it down like this little family tree, and I was like, dang, it was 17 deals
Yeah.
from that one. So
But that's a testament to your service, though, right there.
Oh, thank you.
Because people will not keep coming back
Yeah.
unless they love the experience they had with you. So,
Thank you.
I mean, that's you touching them on a level that they're like, hey, I feel comfortable referring with my friends, my family, my
yeah,
parents.
it's those homemade blankets. That's what'll do it.
Yeah.
As
That's
soon as they
it.
have a kid, I'm right there. I'm Johnny on the spot. You bought a house from me. Now you're getting a blanket.
So it's interesting that you say that, and I'm going to kind of go down a different path for a second. So we talked on one of our other podcasts the other day about follow up. And sometimes with some of the bigger deals that you have, it requires more relationship building. And there's other steps that are part of that relationship building that a lot of times when people are transactional, they don't think about, right? So
Right.
like I think a lot of the stuff that you're talking about is that relationship stuff. And so follow up is one thing. Like you can follow up because, hey, I talked to them 4 days ago, and then 48 hours later, I need to give them another call, shoot them a text or something. But
Right.
I think there's other steps that are part of that process.
huge. Yeah,
and
huge
it
steps.
sounds like you're that people person that kind of gets the bigger picture of
Yeah.
developing a relationship with people. Developed relationships will lead to referrals in any business. It doesn't have to just be real estate, but
Yeah.
you know, the same thing for us in Top Contractor School. If you develop and provide the work and you know, help somebody, they want to bring their friends in and get help as well. So, you know,
Yeah.
the same thing, 17 connections out of that one home sell that you did. That's crazy. So
From my first little booth. And you figure I've been doing it since 10 years since then. So now
you've
I have
been
like
doing the bridal show for
yeah,
10, okay.
10
Wow.
years doing the bridal shows, anywhere between probably like 5 and 6 shows a year.
Okay.
So there's usually like a big one in the winter, and then there's a couple other ones that are pretty big, and
Okay.
then you know the summer ones. But yeah, it is truly for me all about relationship building. You know, like a lot of the brides, I'm going and I'm following on social media,
Right.
like commenting on things here and there, just to like be like, hey, remember me?
Hey.
It was good. You know, like you have to just stay in front of them. And if someone, like gets a puppy, congrats
Right.
on your new puppy, I'll send them a $25 gift card.
Okay.
You know, like something stupid or silly, just to stay in front
Right.
of them
Another
and just be
touch
like,
point.
hey,
Yep.
I'm here when you need me. Because some of the girls, they don't necessarily buy right away. There
Right.
are the ones that come to my booth and they're like, oh my gosh, we're shopping right now. We don't have a realtor,
Right.
or, you know, we're thinking about it like in the next couple months. But the other ones that it's a slow burn, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
For me, I don't think it's hard just to talk to people. Like it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
For some it is, but I don't know. It just kind of comes down
We
to
say that all the time. Like my kids always, growing up, I'd get in the car and pick them up at the bus stop. I'd be on a conference call. They're like, Dad, all you do is talk to people.
yeah.
That's
the point.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like now more than ever, people want to be heard. You know, that's why social media, everyone gets on there and like puts their opinion out there.
Right.
Everybody wants to be heard. So sitting down and talking to someone and letting them be heard, that's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So answer this for us. And we talk about this usually on every show. It's if these walls could talk. So
God.
you're going through a house with that response.
Is
I
there
can't wait to
vodka
hear.
in this?
Well, what's one thing that stands out, or like one, you know, crazy thing that you found during a walkthrough, or like an unexpected, or like what's a story that you have if these walls could talk?
A
That
hole
you were
in the
saving for a
floor.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
a
Yeah.
hole in the floor. So when we went to go close and did the final walkthrough, after the bed was taken away, a home inspector certainly isn't going to look under a bed, for heaven's sakes, but there was a hole in the floor. There was just a giant, like, I don't know what was stored under there, nor do I want to know. It's some Dexter stuff, I guess, but there was a giant hole where you could see the carpet had been pulled back, and
Okay.
there, like almost somewhere where like a safe, I guess, could be. So yeah, I was like, okay, now what do we do? We're closing in T minus 30 seconds, and there's a hole in the floor.
So is that something that got repaired, or like what happened?
Yeah, we ended up putting money in escrow, and it got repaired by the sellers. And I was like, might want to disclose that. Somewhere on the disclosures, it talks about the flooring part.
Yeah.
Hole
Just in
floor.
case?
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably the craziest.
So like me thinking, there's something crazy that was there. Like I'd stick my head in and look around. There'd be like wads of cash or something.
Yeah,
that-
or drugs or something.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fine.
yeah. But I'd be curious what was in there. Like why
Sure.
was there a hole there?
Did they have
that-
any explanation when you like reached out? No.
No, when I pushed the other agent, I was like, what's good with this hole in the floor? And
Yeah.
they were like, oh, we don't know anything about it, because I don't think the agent truly knew.
Okay.
Too.
Probably
Because you
not.
figure when we did the final walkthrough, it was just us. Now I don't really think any agent goes and does a final walkthrough on behalf of their sellers,
Yeah.
But I will tell you that I do that from a bad experience that I had one time. I will do
From the hole in the
yeah,
floor?
that and a missing fridge.
Okay.
We went to do the final walkthrough, and the fridge was gone. And I was like, something's missing. What's missing here? The fridge.
Yeah.
It was taken. It wasn't supposed to be taken. And it was on the bed of a truck on its way to California,
Oh,
where
wow.
my sellers were going, because I was on the listing side.
Yeah.
And it was, of course, one of those refrigerators that you knock on it and it like, welcome, like it couldn't
why
be
they
like
wanted
a
to keep it.
normal
That's
fridge.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they wanted to keep it. Meanwhile, everything like in the contract and the disclosures and the inclusions, everything said the fridge was staying. They took it.
They're like, what are they going to do? Or was
Exactly.
it like, oh, I forgot?
No,
Or-
they said they forgot, but
Yeah.
I don't know how you forget to not.
Maybe you
the
both can
fridge.
contribute here on this. So I'm curious. So there's conveyances, right, that are part of the agreement. I'm curious why people include ceiling fans. Like, I just assume a ceiling fan is an attached piece of the house. Like, do you have to declare that you're leaving the ceiling fans? Like, that'd be the same as saying, hey, I've got a light fixture that's going to stay.
Well, we do, because you might have an heirloom that was
Okay.
like from your grandmother's grandmother, and it was a light fixture that has meaning to you. Well, you go into a house and some people will just literally take that, assuming that, like, hey, I can take that. That's mine.
Yeah.
But unless you specify that I'm going to remove that item and we're either going to cap it off or we'll replace it with something else.
Yeah.
And you can't just like say, oh, I have this, heirloom that's worth thousands of dollars and I'm going to pop up in there some,
A boob light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What was my
just
thought? Like, why
something
wouldn't you just
random.
put like a stock, Home Depot $12.95 light on
You can
to
do that.
replace it?
But the
Yeah.
thing is you have to, if you do that, I always tell sellers, do that before you list the house.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Because then now someone's not in love with that
Right.
light fixture that's hanging over the dining room table that you're now taking down and you're going to hang, the boob light,
Yeah.
right?
Or they
No
want to
one wants
include
that.
it, and then they're like, "Oh, and we'll pay you X amount for it," and then it's like, "Here we go."
Yeah.
Right?
Well, then it becomes a negotiation over something that's not negotiable. I mean, if
Correct.
it is a family heirloom, like
Right.
it doesn't matter how much money they offer you, you're probably going to hold on to it.
But I will tell you, I've actually had sellers that have taken the light bulbs.
I have too.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, where are the light bulbs? The light bulbs are gone because they're like, oh, well, we spent X amount of dollars on all those light bulbs.
Yeah.
You can't take the light bulbs.
Yep.
I mean, I've had like arguments at closing over light bulbs.
Okay.
I'm like, you can't say I have all these smart bulbs.
Right.
And then remove them.
Yeah.
Like it was a selling feature.
Right.
The smart light bulbs stay.
Yeah.
They convey with the house.
Yeah.
If you were saying, I don't want to include all these smart light bulbs, take them out, go to Home Depot, get a case of
Right.
lights, and put them in
Yeah.
before you start showing the house. But don't sell it as a feature and then remove
And
them
then
all.
remove them.
Because then they're thousands of dollars. Then
Yeah.
that's a reason why someone was maybe potentially willing to pay a price.
Right.
Right.
So in my house, I have every single light bulb is a smart bulb. It's a Hue, Philips Hue. I mean, I think they're $50 a piece, but like over time, I've replaced the regular bulbs with the smart bulbs. And,
Yeah.
if I'm walking somewhere, it's, hey, turn on this light and the next room lights up where I'm going. It's the best thing ever. But
I mean, that's why
I
I
would
have
have,
kids. I'm like,
I would
"You know,
never,
lights
but I would never imagine leaving that for somebody that would have to go through and like reprogram every single one of those lights.
Yeah.
Like that'd be a headache and a half to try to figure out how to do all of that and create the rooms. And like, if it's not your thing, like I would just take them all out and to your point, put the stock light bulbs in. So that would never be a question because I'd want them to transfer with me to my next house because I'd reuse them instead of rebuying all new.
Yeah.
They're already connected to all my speakers. That just would
So you're
make
that
sense to
person.
me. well,
You're that
sell.
person.
well, but I would take them out ahead of time.
I
though.
get it.
wouldn't-
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I'm like, who spends all this on light bulbs that
Yeah.
like talk to them? Like, what's wrong with just like hitting the switch?
The switch.
So
yeah.
literally,
What happened to the
it's-
clapper?
it's-
You remember
know.
that?
I don't-
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
probably
think about it.
dating
clap on,
myself.
clap off.
Yeah.
The clapper.
Yeah.
I remember that commercial. Yeah, I mean, it's just convenience, if anything. Or like if you,
get it.
And the worst thing ever is like when the power goes out. I still haven't figured this out yet.
Mm.
If someone's watching the show and knows how to fix this, definitely reach out to me. But so the power goes out. It's 2 a.m. and I'll be laying in bed and the lights all come back on when the power comes back
Oh,
on.
I'd be like, the
Yeah.
house is haunted.
Like I
We're
think
selling
there's
it.
a setting that you can change that causes them to shut off.
It might be a YouTube question.
Yeah.
Probably find the
Well,
answer
I
to
just
that.
haven't made it that far yet. I have
Yeah.
an 18-year-old son that I would have hoped figured it out, but he
Yeah.
hasn't yet. So he's my technology guy. But yeah, he hasn't answered that question. So maybe somebody that's watching the show can help us. So what have we missed? Tell us more about you that people watching the show would be interested in, or and you seem so unique and personable and
Oh, thank you.
super engaging. I mean, obviously people can find you at the home shows for the brides. You're at multiple ones of those. Do you do any other outreach in the community? Are there any other connections other than walking the dog in the neighborhood?
Or kind of walking the dog, walking and stopping,
Yeah,
walking and
right.
stopping. I think just selling all over Pittsburgh. More or less. I have a love-hate relationship with this city, I think. If we could unsubscribe from the weather, that would be fantastic.
Right.
I don't think anyone ever has moved to Pittsburgh and be like, we should move there because the weather's
Right.
so awesome.
It's
No,
terrible.
it's weather. Yeah, the weather's terrible.
Everyone
but
says it. It's so funny.
yeah, but I think our city as a whole is something truly unique and something truly special. And I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. I mean, from classic car upholstery businesses to cell phone towers to I've got other realtors in the family, cleaning businesses. I mean, you name it, all entrepreneurs. And supporting local businesses is something that I'm very passionate about. And I think my whole thing about the Love Where You Live Pittsburgh brand kind of came about during COVID. So during COVID, I think everybody obviously had to shift in some way,
Right.
shape, or form. And I'm sure, Zita, you can attest to this. Usually whenever we do like buyer consultations, a lot of the times the first question we were asking is like, where do you work and how far do you want to be from work?
Right.
Like, and that was usually the depicting location on where you started like the house search.
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, you know, that question kind of took a backseat for some people. A lot of people started working more remotely. So my leading question a lot became, what's your lifestyle? You know, like for me, walking the dog at the park is a huge part of just who I am. So I know that if I ever needed to move, I would need to be near a park or somewhere where there was
Walking
like a big
trail or-
walking
right.
trail or something
Yep.
like that. And I think that's huge in helping someone find a house in a location that they're truly going to love where they live beyond their walls, and just really help them find a lifestyle that's going to be beneficial for them. Especially like getting outside. It's good for your like mental health and whatever. But you know, you get some people that are like, I'm new to the area and, you know, I want to meet people, but I don't really know like where to meet people. And it's like, cool, like, tell me more. You want to find like a walkable neighborhood? Let's find you like, let's make you a Norm Peterson, you know, let's find your spot where you just go and have a beer and everybody knows who you are,
Right.
and help you get established here. So, you know, helping people find where they want to be locationally or architecturally. Like Pittsburgh is awesome with some architecture. There's some awesome like Victorian houses and, you know, mid-century mod houses that, you know, I'm sure if, you know, like you too, like when you take those consultations and they kind of talk about what kind of house they want, and they start with I want a 3-bed, 2-bath. And I'm like, cool, show me your Pinterest board though. Like,
Right.
what do you really
Right.
want? What do you really envision? Like, I know if someone wants a lot of character or something, I'm not necessarily going to take them to a newer house, some like in the North Hills, you know, but if they want somewhere that's walkable and a little character and they don't mind doing a couple things here and there, you know, to improve the house, you know, based on the price point, cool, let's go to the South Hills. Let's talk about what slate shingles are or box gutters or,
Right.
you know, and then, you know, we were talking earlier about like adding to your business every year, aligning yourself with home inspectors that know, you know, okay, this isn't typical for a normal house and it's not up to code, but maybe for an older, you know, 100-plus-year-old Pittsburgh house, this is looking good.
Yeah.
You know, like the dirt basement floor, that's the Pittsburgh potty, that's standard, you
Right.
know? So aligning yourself with the contractors and the right people to know like certain slate roofs and box gutters and things like that, and good masonries, because I feel like every house needs repointed.
Yeah.
Like that's just like a standard. But yeah, getting people that have like that small business mentality of like, I want to support like small businesses or
Yeah.
whatever, putting those clients and those customers in front of those businesses to help create a sense of community.
Sure.
Is I just love that, because let's face it, the small businesses would go under easily if they didn't have those kind of people,
Right.
you know, there to support them. So, and I love that like they're shutting down streets and doing markets and, you know, again, my
we go to
crafting art.
Zelianople all the time. They have that open.
Yeah, it's
amazing. Yeah, the open
there's still
streets.
traffic, but it's open streets. They have food vendors out.
Yeah.
It's really crazy over the last couple of years how it's dramatically changed with like new locations that are opening. A lot
There's
more
great
people. There's
Yeah.
great restaurants. So yeah.
And there's
I know
so
exactly
many
what you're
cool
talking
like
about.
people that are relocating here that, you know, hey, I owned a business in New York or whatever,
Right.
and I'm coming to Pittsburgh. It's so affordable here.
Yeah.
So as a small business owner, why wouldn't you want to start a business
Yeah.
here? So, you know, getting cool like restaurants and cool food, but it's such a vibe.
Yeah.
You know, like taking the dog, taking the kids, going out and doing the market streets or whatever. It's just a good, wholesome, you know, it's something to do. You're supporting people, you know. I just love that sense of community. So that's kind of like my focus.
That's your thing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's my thing, is kind of helping people find their lifestyle with a house.
Yeah.
You know.
So Zita, second time this has come up now on our show. We've had the Pittsburgh Potty debut on a prior show, and
Oh
did.
gosh.
got another mention of the Pittsburgh Potty.
Yes.
So I was out with a contractor. We were in Beaver County. We were doing a
You'll find a lot of them
walkthrough, and interestingly enough, we went into the basement, very low ceiling, and you know, I'm walking around and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, there's a shower, a wide open shower, right? It's on the middle of a cinder block wall, and
Sure,
I'm like,
just like a shower head. coming
yeah,
out.
shower head, right?
just
It's,
random.
it's
That's
two handles and the shower
So,
head.
you know,
and-
the floor's already automatically
Yeah.
sloped,
yeah,
you
so
don't worry
nothing
about
else.
that.
And I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, where's the toilet? Where's the drain that?
Right.
And there was the spot that was there that was concreted over. So I guarantee that
That's
was
what it was.
that was the drain for the Pittsburgh Potty that was in
Yeah.
the spot in the basement. But yeah, second time. So thank you. We appreciate you bringing up
Yeah.
the Pittsburgh Potty.
Pittsburgh potties and the pencil sharpeners in the basement.
That's
why?
it. I mean, they're so nostalgic.
Why? Well, why is that a thing? Like, go downstairs and sharpen your pencil.
And when people have them, it's like, don't touch that.
Don't-
like,
Right.
don't remove that.
No.
Like, it's part of the house. It's the character of the house.
yeah, I feel like there needs to be like just a Instagram page of just
Right?
All the
all the
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
specific.
pencils. Yeah, pencil sharpeners.
We should
and,
create the Pittsburgh Potty Instagram page.
yeah, just random pictures of toilets.
Right.
Someone would be like,
I know.
Yeah,
Someone
that's,
be all
that's my
over
thing.
that.
I'm going to start it. You wait. That's a great idea. Thank
toilets
you.
and pencil sharpeners.
Right?
Yeah.
The laundry chute, too. That's something else.
What's that?
Is that specific to Pittsburgh?
I don't know
the,
if
the
it
laundry
is.
chute?
Oh, the laundry chute.
I don't
Well, the
know.
laundry chute where it comes down, and it's got like caged in.
Yeah, it's
and it just
caged in.
drops to like
Yeah.
the floor or whatever. You're like, who does that? Right next to the Pittsburgh Potty.
So my in-laws had
And they're
one,
so
and I thought it was
small.
the craziest thing ever, right? And the first time I saw it, I'm like, wait, you put your clothes down the chute and it just
Right.
goes to the laundry room? I thought it was the coolest thing ever, but they had this closet door that was in the laundry room, and they had built with 2x4s and plywood a receptacle on the back of the door that opened, and I'm like, wait, it goes, you guys built this? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. So yeah, I was kind of into it, actually.
I wonder if that's like an East Coast thing. Because I remember, don't you remember on Home Alone, he does something with
Oh yeah.
the laundry chute as part of the thing. So I wonder if that's like a Chicago.
What's Chicago's Midwest? So
yeah,
it could
like
be an
I
East Coast
wonder.
thing. I don't know.
I'm wondering if they have them out
We have
west.
to do a little research
So
on
we've,
that.
we've got
We
some
need to figure it
homework
out.
as
We're
we
going
go
down a
for
rabbit
shows.
hole.
Follow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh potties, pencil sharpeners, and then laundry chutes. So you guys
Yeah.
have some work to do. Appreciate everybody watching. This has been a great show. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next episode of Bridging the Gap.